most of the research that has been presented about what we are going through, all the psychological data, it takes time to gather data, to analyze data, and then to publish data. And so for the last 3.5, 4 months, a lot of the individuals like myself who've been talking about the potential consequences of this have been using old research studies on previous quarantines and previous pandemics. But we know we've never experienced anything like what we're experiencing right now. And so there was really no data on that. The data that was out there was really mostly on select individuals that had been put on quarantine to deal with SARS, Ebola, and things like that. So based on those studies, we had a hunch of what we were going to expect to come from this. But the exciting news is I found a study last month. It was actually done in May. It's unpublished, and it's some raw data, and it hasn't been peer reviewed yet, but it's an exciting study to really validate what individuals like myself and others have been saying is going on. And it is a research study that was conducted by 2 psychologists, one out of San Diego State University and the other out of Florida State. And what they did, they actually did an online questionnaire where they interviewed people in April, and they asked them a certain number of mental health questions, and then they compared the results from that to a national online study where they asked the exact same questions back in 2018. And the results are striking. This is where, if you could put up.
Okay, wow, let me go ahead and get that.
It is absolutely, I was shocked when I saw the data.
We've got our PowerPoint up here. Are you seeing it?
I'm seeing it.
I'm just putting this is what she was talking about. Here are the two, should I call them doctors? Here are the two.
The two psychologists.
Two psychologists who are doing this, and this is the version. It was May 20th, or May 7th, 2020, so people know we're telling the truth. And let's go down to here, where you have
in the result, what they found was that in April 2020, individuals were 8 times more likely to fit criteria for a serious mental illness. So what that means is in 2018, there were 3.4% of the population struggling with serious mental illness. And in April 2020, it has gone up to 27.70%. That is an 8-time increase for serious mental illness.
Just in that time period?
Well, within that 2 years. So what we're looking at is in 2018, serious mental illness was at about 3.5%. But now, because of the lockdown and the pandemic, it has gone up to almost 28%. And that's for serious mental illness. The next graph we have is for moderate to serious mental illness, which in 2018 was at 22%, is now up to 70.4%, which is 3 times as great as what we were experiencing in 2018. Those numbers are huge. If you really understand what we're looking at, is it's saying almost 3/4 of our population are experiencing moderate to serious emotional distress due to this lockdown. That's huge.
Okay, and in your years of practice, you've done this for about 25 years. Have you ever seen anything close to this?
No, never.
So this is kind of unprecedented.
This data goes even beyond the 9/11 data. We recognize that after 9/11, there was a lot of distress in the country. There was a lot of fear and anxiety, a lot of post-traumatic stress, but nothing like this.
So this goes beyond 9/11?
Yes.
Just letting that sink in for a minute. I didn't even realize. I guess this is why we call this I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
It's significant. Now, again, I think the more frightening difference is I bet numbers were similar in New York. In fact, the numbers may have even been greater in New York. I don't have that data on me.
Okay.
But we are talking nationwide. And again, nationwide, individuals were traumatized and were distressed with what happened after 9/11. Of
course.
But not to this degree. And so what this is saying is when you lock down a population nationwide, it is going to psychologically affect 3/4 of the population.
Okay, and especially Americans. You know, I know for me, I don't lock down well at all. At all.
I don't know anybody.
I have found that out with absolute concrete certainty. I do not lock down well at all. Ask my friends. They're tired of hearing me whine about it. I don't like, you know, as just in this country, we're just used to being able to come and go and be free to go. If you want to go to the grocery store, now the grocery store is like a whole different meaning. You know, there's the mask and there's this and there's that. There's all of these things. Whereas before it was a chore you hated to do and you'd go and do it and didn't even bat an eye at it.
Exactly.
And now it's got a whole song and dance to it. So it's very interesting. And with 9/11, it did affect the nation, but it was a localized event.
Yep.
This was localized all over the whole nation. So it was kind of wherever you want. Thank God for God. It's one of the reasons as healing rooms we're putting this on. Thank God for God. Because the idea is, yes, these are stats and we're showing you where things are, but God.
Yes.
But with God, this stuff can change. That's the reason we're also showing these to you.